1982, Terry Utley. And I'm Joan Van Ark, a long way from Knott's Landing.
And I'm Bob Barker, your host for this evening's Miss USA pageant from the Civic Auditorium in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Where we're all looking forward to the crowning of the new Miss USA.
We are?
Oh, I'm sorry, nothing personal, Terry.
Join us, along with Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin brothers, and 51 of the nation's most beautiful young women. When?
Next
on CBS. Don't miss it.
Yes.
Tonight, live from all over the USA, 51 of the nation's most beautiful young women.
And the beautiful Tennessee waltz.
From the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, Knoxville, Tennessee, the 32nd annual Miss USA pageant.
Miss USA, Miss USA, Miss USA.
Miss USA, that's me, but for only 2 more hours. I'm Terry Utley, and welcome to Knoxville, Tennessee. Tonight, right there in the Knoxville Civic Auditorium, you'll meet my successor, who'll be the new Miss USA.
Welcome to Tennessee. It's the prettiest country that you'll ever see. From the top of Old Smoky, all covered with snow, to the Tennessee Valley, nestled below. It's Miss USA 83. We invite you to join us, and we'll guarantee there'll be music and dancing, a queen to be crowned, and 51 beauties to show you around. Everyone here has such fun here with the Tennessee friends we have made. Can't help wishing, in addition, we could stay for our holiday. But right now in Tennessee, that old Tennessee waltz is starting to play. The band is parading and we're serenading the beautiful Miss USA.
Ladies and gentlemen, the University of Tennessee, pride of the Southland Marching Band. The musical stars of television, recordings, concerts, Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin brothers. Our hostess from the hit series Knott's Landing, Joan Van Ark. And the star of The Price is Right, one of America's favorite television personalities, Bob Barker.
It's the prettiest country that you'll ever see. From the top of Old Smoky, all covered with snow, to the Tennessee Valley, nestled below. It's Miss USA 83. We invite you to join us, and we guarantee there'll be music and dancing, a queen to be crowned, and 51 beauties to show you around.
And escorting our ladies, members of the Naval Air Training Command Choir.
We remember this night and the Tennessee waltz. How we wish when we could stay. But that moment is at hand now. So strike a sign out for beautiful Tennessee, the beautiful Miss USA.
down in the...
Ladies and gentlemen, our host for this evening, Bob Barker.
Thank you. How'd you like that opening production number? Huh? Have you ever seen so many people on one stage? If there'd been one more Gatlin brother, we'd never have made it. Do you know that? I want to welcome you to the 32nd annual Miss USA pageant, which comes to you from Knoxville, Tennessee. Yes, sir. Knoxville, Tennessee, in the foothills of the magnificent Great Smoky Mountains. Now, last year, Knoxville had the fair, and this year it has the fairest. 51 of the loveliest young women in our country compete for the title of Miss USA. Our winner will receive prizes totaling more than $150,000 in cash and merchandise, and the opportunity to represent our country in the Miss Universe pageant to be held July 11th in St. Louis, Missouri. Now, during tonight's pageant, the judges' votes will be tabulated in our computer here, and you will be kept up to date on the results of that voting. Of course, you're invited to keep your own scores at home and see if you can pick the new Miss USA before the judge's decision is announced. We'll be explaining our areas of judging as well as how the voting is done. But first, let's meet our 51 candidates, starting with Miss Alabama.
Terry Lane, Birmingham, Alabama. Amy Harms, Fairbanks, Alaska. Cindy Hedden, Tucson, Arizona. Deborah Baltz from Paris, Arkansas. Julie Hyatt, Westwood, California. Lisa Trujillo, Denver, Colorado. Marilyn Solomon, Terryville, Connecticut. Shelley Perkins, Newark, Delaware. Julie Warner, District of Columbia. Janet Chesser, Daytona Beach, Florida. Dotsie Tim, Augusta, Georgia. Swan Road, Honolulu, Hawaii. Carrie Damiano, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Vanessa Romine, Rockford, Illinois. Tony Uke, Portage, Indiana. Dana Minzer, Des Moines, Iowa. Renee Rook, Marysville, Kansas. Leanne Austin, Benton, Kentucky. Pamela Forrest, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Rosemary Heeman, Miami, Maine. Sean Keller, Ashton, Maryland. Robin Sylvia, Swansea, Massachusetts. Kim Mexican, Livonia, Michigan. Carolyn Manson, New Hope, Minnesota. Becky Case, Jackson, Mississippi. Robin Riley, Columbia, Missouri. Barbara Bowman, Great Falls, Montana. Penny Bunton, Lincoln, Nebraska. Christy Lane Daniel, Las Vegas, Nevada. Lynn Toby Stockwell, Hampton, New Hampshire. Henry Bricado, Bloomfield, New Jersey. Kristen Larson, Santa Fe, New Mexico. Jennifer Michaelinich, Huntington, New York. Paige Simpson, Mooresville, North Carolina. Elizabeth M. Jagger, Fargo, North Dakota. Gina Gangel, Youngstown, Ohio. Mignon Merchant, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Shelley Kaiser, Portland, Oregon. Julie Page, Belle Vernon, Pennsylvania. Allegra Hendricks, Providence, Rhode Island. Allison Griswold, Columbia, South Carolina. Kelly Rosenbaum, Elk Point, South Dakota. LaDonna Friday, Jonesboro, Tennessee. Lisa Allred, Fort Worth, Texas. Lana Lewis, Heber City, Utah. Leslie Lakina, Barry, Vermont. Tay Collins, Virginia Beach, Virginia. Kathy Tucker, Redmond, Washington. Jill Rigby, Huntington, West Virginia. Susan Peters, Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. Joni Engstrom, Rowan, Wyoming.
No one knows which contestant it will be, but you have just met the new Miss USA.
I've come from my Knott's Landing cul-de-sac all the way to Knoxville, Tennessee, to be your hostess once again for another Miss USA pageant. And what an exciting honor it is. It's an exciting evening for me for a lot of reasons. First of all, it's live, it's entertaining, and most of all, at the end of this evening, we're all going to know who the new Miss USA is going to be. Now, our official decision is going to be reached by this distinguished panel of celebrity judges, which you see right here. You're going to meet them in a little while, but first, I'd like to tell you how they'll go about registering their choices in each of the 3 areas of judging, which is swimsuits, evening gowns, and personal interviews. Each judge has a terminal, just like this one right here. The score that each judge gives each girl, anything from, say, a 1 to a 9.99, is punched into this terminal, which goes to our computer. The computer then tabulates an average composite score for each candidate in each category. After determining first our 12 semifinalists and then our 5 finalists, the judges will, of course, pick our new Miss USA. Now, I'm going to be telling you throughout the telecast about the scoring results as the computer tabulates them, but the audience here in the theater, the judges right here, and the contestants will not know the scores that you and I know. That's just going to be between you and me. So I'll be keeping you posted on the scoring. I'll tell you a little bit about the pageant. I'll be talking with some of the people who are here tonight, and like you, I'm going to be trying to guess who the winner will be. But right now, we have a very special swimsuit event coming up right after this word from Tide. Clean Tide's America's... The judging process for our pageant has been going on for this past week, and our panel here has observed each of our young ladies in the 3 areas of competition: the swimsuits, evening gowns, and personal interviews, and has already chosen our 12 semifinalists. Which 12? Well, why don't you take a look at each of our candidates in their fashion swimwear from JCPenney's Miss USA collection, and as you watch, you'll see on your screen the score the judges gave each contestant in the preliminary swimsuit competition. Okay, Bob?
Thank you, Joan. The beautiful countryside of eastern Tennessee provides some stunning backgrounds for the 51 contestants in this year's quest for the title of Miss USA. Downtown Knoxville itself is our first stop, right next to the site of tonight's pageant, in fact. The waters come from the Civic Auditorium fountain, and our first 2 ladies come from places which indicate the scope of our pageant. Miss Mississippi is Becky Case, and with her is Amy Renee Harms, who is Miss Alaska. A lady from Paris and a gift from Providence. Deborah Baltz, Miss Arkansas, is from Paris, Arkansas, and Allegra Henricks, Miss Rhode Island, is from Providence. From neighboring states in the Northwest came Miss Montana, Barbara Jean Bowman, and Miss Idaho, Carrie Damiano. Joining us now are a Tar Heel and a Nutmegger. Miss North Carolina is Paige Pinson, and Mary Lynn Selleman is Miss Connecticut. And before saying goodbye to this fountain, we say hello to Miss New York, Jennifer Ann Michaelinich, and Jill Rigsby, Miss West Virginia. The Little River is in Great Smoky Mountain National Park, and at one point the river has caused an erosion, which resulted in recesses known around here as the sinks. It's there that we meet our next group, starting with Miss Utah, Lana Lewis. From the Great Lakes to the Little River comes Miss Michigan, Kim Mexicon. Representing our nation's capital is Miss District of Columbia, Julie Warner. A huge rock serves as the stark background for Miss North Dakota, Elizabeth Ann Jaeger. From the Show Me State, we show you Miss Missouri, Robin Elizabeth Riley. It's time now to move upstream a little, but first we greet Joni Engstrom, who is Miss Wyoming. The cascading waters lead us to what might be described as beauty on the rocks. Here is Miss Nevada, Krista Elaine Daniel, Miss Nebraska, Penny Boynton, and Miss Oklahoma, Mignon Merchant. The rushing river provides the background for 2 lovely Westerners. Miss Texas is Lisa Allred, and Miss California is Julie Hayek. And our last twosome at this beautiful site are Miss Colorado, Lisa Trujillo, and Miss Kentucky, Leanne Austin. If you're among those who visited the Knoxville World's Fair last year, you'll remember the Court of Flags, where the waters of the world provide a backdrop for our next group of contestants. Starting with Miss Hawaii, Zoanne Roach, and And Miss Pennsylvania, Julie Page. This twosome comes from Dixie and New England. Miss Georgia is Dotsy Tim. And Lynn Toby Stockwell is Miss New Hampshire. These two ladies didn't have to travel far to get to our pageant. Allison Grisso is Miss South Carolina, and from our host state, LaDonna Friday, Miss Tennessee. The Atlantic Coast and the Great Southwest are combined here in Miss Virginia, Hay Collins, and Miss Arizona, Cindy Hedden. And our final greetings at this World's Fair site go to Miss Delaware. Having seen all those lovely young ladies, you can tell that it was not an easy job for our judges to narrow the field to 12, but they did it. After observing the candidates this past week, competing in swimsuits, evening gowns, and personal interviews, they gave each young woman a point score in each category. Those scores were all fed into the computer. Each young woman received an average score, and the 12 highest became our semifinalists. Now, while I pick up the computer printout, please welcome our young ladies in their lovely sportswear ensembles made especially for them by P.R. Donovan. Here they are. Now, before I read these names, which will be in no particular order, I'd like to say good luck to all 51 of you. Good luck to you. Here we go. Here we go with the first name on the list, and I'll bet you're going to like Miss Georgia. You'll see her score at home on your television set, but we do not see it here. Now we're going a fur piece for Miss Washington. And while we're out west, we're going to fetch Miss California. What do you folks think of Miss North Dakota? And now come on down, Miss Michigan. And now we're halfway there. Number 6 on the list of 12 semifinalists is Miss Texas. And from not far away comes Miss South Carolina. Look out, folks, here comes Miss Nevada. And we want Miss Oklahoma. All right, here we are at number 10, and number 10 is Miss New York. Check her score at home, and we have only 2 names left on the list of 12 semifinalists. One of those names is Miss Louisiana. And now, one last name. Only one more girl who has a chance to become Miss USA. She is Miss Pennsylvania. Congratulations to our 12 semifinalists, one of whom will be our new Miss USA.
The 51 contestants have now become 12, and the computer tells us, I believe here